Are you guys ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you to A Sound Voice Live.
We have the honor of standing with one of gospel's greatest, and that's none other than J. Moss. And we're here along with him and CeCe Winans, along with McDonald's. Guess what? I'm loving it. So talk to us a little.
That was real strategic. You made that work. That was cool.
Talk to us a little bit. You're here with McDonald's, and they're deeply moved, deeply inspired, and rooted in the community.
Every single night. I mean, it has just been a wonderful experience. I always say 2008 was one of my most challenging years, and everybody could have opted to release their hands from me and my ministry, and God just saved and spared and salvaged everything. So me being on a tour right now, today, for such a time as this in my life, and especially it being those golden arches, is huge in my life. And then you can't get a better a co-headliner, if you will, than CeCe. You know, it's really her show. She's a legend. She's doing her thing, and for me to just ride in on some of her love, it's just been a great experience every night.
Well, one of the things I know about God, Jay, is that he's a good God.
He's a good
and
God.
There's nothing that he can't do, and there's nothing that he can't redeem us from.
That's right.
And I'm loving it.
That's right.
Because I love him for it.
Right.
Now, talk to us about what's coming for you. Where is J. Moss going? Now, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
I don't know if this is out or not.
Okay.
But I love how loving you makes me feel. What is going on with that?
You've been on some internet pages to find that. You know, we were going to do that on the Backstreet Boys. And something happened, and I don't think we recorded it, but it actually we got their vocals on it, but it didn't get on the album.
Okay.
But maybe in the future I want to do something with that. But new for me this year is 825, the new album from J. Moss. We're giving J. Moss a rest. It's called Just James.
Wow.
Just James, and it's just really a stripped down version of me on the inside, my stories, and how, stories of triumph, falling, getting back up again. All of that is just in the album, and God has really shifted so many things in my life, and it's really going to be a great experience.
Well, one of the things I found out about adversity is that it launches you to your next level.
Doesn't it? If you allow it.
If you
allow it.
But what would you say to someone who is facing adversity? How would you encourage them, or how would you motivate them to just keep on doing what they know God has called them to do?
Exactly. One thing I always say, you don't realize that Jesus is all you need until Jesus is all you have. And sometimes a lot of us knuckleheads, we have to get to that point to where it ain't about you. You got to realize it's not about your wit, your intelligence, your money, your bloodline. You just have to get to a place of sellout. I'm completely sold out to God. And God, if this is going to be fixed, I have to realize within myself that you can do this first, and then believe that you will do this. And that's it. Ain't no trick, ain't no special scripture I want to take you to. That's just it. You got to first believe that he can, and then understand that he will. Yeah.
But that's where ministry comes from.
Yeah.
Now, ministry for you begins again. A new beginning, if you will. And we love you. Your music has moved so many, and your music has encouraged and inspired. Tell me, whose music encourages and inspires you?
You put me on the spot.
I know
I have a very interesting story right here. When I was at the bottom, on the ground, broke, wide open, million pieces, I honestly couldn't find anything to get me there. And now this was, maybe God had closed my ears because he didn't want me to depend on anything else but him. But he tapped me on the shoulder and said, this is the void that you're creating by living the life that you're living. There are people out there that are hungry for a message that I've given to you specifically. And if your life is not going to be in the right place, there's going to be a void there. What are you going to do, Jay? And that's when the epiphany happened, and I realized and understood. I was like, wow, okay. What my real purpose was. So, but one of the songs I can remember, in that process was, of course, James Fortune's I'll Trust You. That it just spoke to me, and I was just bawling. It was crazy. But, but God really just showed me and said, hey, people are dealing with some specific stuff. Not that, my co-laborers aren't doing good music. They are. But God said, Jay, I got a specific word for you for a specific group, and I need you to be in place. And that's what my whole ordeal really did for me. It kind of elevated me, shaped me, reshaped me, restored me, and put me back in that place.
And what it did for the listeners of gospel music is let them know that you're a real man.
Oh, no doubt.
And that you go through and you face crises just like we do.
We just people.
So you couldn't have the gift that you have.
Right.
And you couldn't minister the way you minister without experiencing something. And so God gave you victory. You are here tonight. And I believe that God has a right now word for the city of Atlanta, because they outside around the building waiting right now. So
every night from Dallas to Houston to Philly to Detroit, Chicago, everywhere we've gone, it has been a crazy pouring out of his spirit. Once I get into the testimony and tell them how God salvaged and put everything, it's just, people have been walking up, and it was prophesied to me. I know we weren't really supposed to do this, but it was prophesied to me that I was going to speak and deal with the spirit that's inside of a lot of men, a lot of husbands, a lot of fathers, people of that nature. And they have been coming up after the shows every night saying, Jay, I connect it. I understand it now. I get it. I'm going to get my life postured in the right, So I'm receiving it all, and it's been great. So I'm really, really anxious to see how God does it tonight.
Look at those brothers right there in that camera and encourage them from you.
Oh, man. The first thing is, if you ever heard anything about your boy Jay, don't be me. Don't do it the way that I did it. I closed my ears to God. I turned away from God, and I ignored his call. And as a result of that, God had to come and get me. That's the beauty of it. He didn't kill me. He didn't destroy me. He came and got me and said, okay, I got to get you back to where I need you, because I know it's in you. You're just going wayward. So, fellas, if you're there, please use me as an example. I don't mind. You can even say my name. Don't do it the way that I did. Go ahead and get your life right with God now. And the way you do that is just commit to him. One-on-one commitment, quality time. Just sell yourself out to Jesus and let him orchestrate your steps, and you'll be good.
There you have it. From J. Moss himself. We want you guys to be encouraged. We want you to be inspired. It's not about us, as we tell you all the time, from a sound voice.
Now join me as we welcome your hosts, the sweethearts of the industry, James and Regina Howard.
Mm-hmm.